So as I was headed from my Airbnb, I noticed these free items sitting under this tote, along with a lot of other things around it. Initially, I wasn't going to stop, but I'm happy I did. These items are actually scrap. And just so happened I have a scrap metal yard en route to my property, so that actually worked out perfect. So along with the 3 free bikes, there was also an old refrigerator, a paint roller, and an old AC unit frame. Not really a huge scrap load, but I'm gonna do them the favor and remove this junk from their yard and make me a few dollars on the way back home. So with that, I took each item one by one and I loaded it up on the bed of my truck. Initially, I didn't really have enough room on the back of my truck, so I had to remove items that was already back there and put it on the inside, which I didn't really mind. From start to finish, it only took me about 15 minutes to get everything loaded onto the truck. And realistically, most of that time was me removing the items that were on the bed of my truck prior to get everything loaded on properly. So after everything was all said and done, this was everything that I loaded onto the truck. I didn't strap it, so I will stop at least one time before I make it to the scrapyard to make sure everything is still secure. And with that, I left the chickens and the roosters behind and I made my way to the scrapyard, but not before stopping one time just to verify that that load was secure. And after verifying that the load was 100% secure, I went 3 miles down the road and I pulled into the scrapyard. So here I am actually pulling onto the scales. You can see this truck in front of me. He actually dropped off a load. He's on the inside picking up his ticket. So I just went around him. As I'm pulling onto the scales, there's actually someone on that top level behind that glass that's going to confirm the weight before and after dropping off the scrap. So here I am taking each item off one by one, tossing it into the scrap pile. As of right now, I'm about 35 minutes in from the time that I picked up the scrap. So not too bad considering what I actually made once everything was all said and done. So after I got all the lighter items off, it was time to remove the refrigerator. It wasn't terribly bad. What I did was I just laid my truck bed down and I laid the refrigerator down as well. I picked it up and I slid it to the very end of the truck and I pretty much just tossed it off. I had to be super careful and I had to position it correctly to ensure that it didn't scratch my truck when I pushed it off. And there we go. After I dropped off the scrap, I parked my truck and I made my way on the inside. Usually when you're doing these type of transactions, they'll ask you for your license and sometimes your tag number to confirm everything. So I made sure that I brought my license in with me and I had my tag number memorized. So after receiving the first ticket, you actually have to go to a second window to receive your check. The time that it takes to get your check at the second window after receiving your ticket at the first one is pretty fast. They're just confirming everything, and once everything is confirmed, they ask you to sign and they hand you over your check. Don't forget to subscribe.